Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Reality with Eva. How you doing? Now, I'm gonna tell y'all something. And I was so proud to get a request. I don't know how I feel about that. You know how the other YouTubers be complaining when somebody get them a request. Maybe because my channel is small, I was really feeling like, oh, somebody wants to request something from me. Little old me. Little reality DVD. But I'm going to give it to you real and raw like I do. So are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. So the request was to give my honest opinion of what's going on with Tia and Tamera. And then I'm going to talk about P. Shitty and the diary. Okay. So, because, like I said, it's been a long time. My foot has not been up off Diddy's neck ever since Pac said, hey, that nigga shot me. And I was like, yeah, I just did not know that he had so many dealings in the underbelly of the underworld. Okay? But back to Tia Tamera. So, Tia has a show coming out. Now, the word on the street is, and the words that came out of Tamara's mouth. Now, remember, everything is alleged, and in my opinion, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to share the video. Now, back to the tea. So, or should I say TNT? Hey! So, anyway, she was saying that she didn't even know that Tia was doing a reality TV show. Now, mind you, back in the day, when DirecTV was fairly new and they had their own reality TV show, I thought that they were closer than what they were. You see, this is when Adam had started creeping into the picture. Okay? And really, I could tell that the twins were raised very, I would say, kind of uber religious. And I'm not saying that Tia is no longer uber religious, but what I'm saying is that a lot of that she kind of rebelled against when she became the quote unquote sexy twin. And, Tamera played into it. I'll tell you, I probably was about, I would say, 17-ish, 18-ish, when I saw them on Wheel of Fortune. Okay? They were on Wheel of Fortune. They had just entered college. They were going to Pepperdine. All of this is in my memory. I told y'all I got a memory like an elephant. So, this story kind of goes back to that. So, they said on the show a couple of things that caught my attention. The first thing they said was Tamera was a straight A student. The second thing they said was Tia is a B-ish, C-ish student. And they said that the twins were playing the opposite of each other on the show. That Tamera was really the smart one and Tia was more of a goof off. But with that said, Tia seems to be more down to earth, less judgy, and funner, in my opinion. So when, I have to tell you, when the reel was casted and they said that they had cast Tamera, I was shocked because this show was called The Real, and to me, she doesn't give real. She gives really, really judgment. And I'll go back to their reality show on that. So she and Adam were dating at this time, getting ready to get married. And Tia was already married and pregnant. But it very much seemed to me that Tamera was very needy. And Tia had to let her know, I have a family. So while that show was taping, Tamera would get letters, and the letters would say things like, you need to get up off of her. She's the black twin. You're the white twin. You look goofy. You look like a bird and a Tweety bird, and Tia is beautiful. But they're identical twins. By the way, I've always been able to tell them apart. I can tell identical twins apart very easily. I don't know why. It's just always been a gift of mine. And I know why I can do it. I would say, now, if I was looking at them from behind, I probably wouldn't be able to if they had their hair exactly alike. But it's not the mold. It's the shape of the face. And Tamera does have a more Caucasian facial structure, whereas Tia has a more African American. and it does not have anything to do with the mold. I'm telling you, I've always been able to tell them apart. Okay. And then to me, Tia is a little more dark. She has a darker complexion, in my opinion. Now, mind you, they are both biracial, and of course they're biracial, they're identical twins, duh. But the point is, I'm saying, being that they are biracial, it's going to be some things that make one, to me, more relevant to one group over the other, if that makes sense. So to me, Tia is more relatable. I cannot help it. I just don't see Tamera as a relatable person. And then when she married that Trump supporter, I was like, no, she's not relatable at all, in my opinion. I never liked her husband. He always seemed to be standoffish on that show. And like I said, when the show was casted, I always thought it was kind of weird that it was her, because she's never, once they got off the show and I realized that, that the personalities had been switched up, I realized that Tia was just seemed to be more down to earth. And then on the show, on their show on the Style Network, which was actually a subsidiary of We. And what's so great about that? I literally had to get a package added to my DirecTV. That's what I was going to talk about at the beginning, to watch that show, because I wanted to see the dynamics between the two of them. And I just saw Tamera as needy. And she, on one of the episodes, and I distinctly remember this episode, she was calling Tia selfish then. And then they had to do this type of retreat thing in order to, get back on track. But whereas it seemed like things had been kind of irretrievably, did I say that right? See, that's why I didn't want to use that word, because I was scared that I was going to say it right. Irretrievably broken. I think that's what I'm looking for at that time, because it seemed to me that Tia was taking her life in a totally different direction. And then it seemed like Tamera was becoming more and more engrossed in this conservative lifestyle that her husband was providing. And that's how he came up. When I tell you, I never liked this man. From day one, I was like, she married a white man. I mean, he's super, super conservative. And back in that day, I was watching Fox News and he played on Fox News. So, okay. I'm surprised he married a blackish woman myself. Or should I say mixedish. But anyway, if they present conservative, then sometimes they'll go ahead and mix, aka Clarence Thomas. I'm not saying that, Tamera is that far across the aisles in conservatism, but I will say it's more prevalent because even on the real, I thought that Taj was close to both of them, right? Because he used to sometimes guest star on their show. Then he used to sometimes guest star on the game. And then I caught it that he was more, seemed to be, could relate more to Samara and Housley, as she called it. And because he was like, Corey's all right, he's straight or whatever, but, Adam is my guy. And I was like, mm-hmm. But then when Xavier came on the show, he was gravitating towards Corey. And Corey used to actually call Tamera corny. Well, now we know that Corey is kind of blunt, so hey, it's neither here nor there. We know he probably was being blunt with some Tia all along, but that's neither here nor there. Then I think, in my opinion, that they were also judging Tia for getting a divorce. Now that's how I feel about it. Let me sum things up by saying I feel like Tamera was judgy. That conservative husband does not make her relative to the black folks. I'm just going to keep it 100. I'm going to say what everybody else is skirting around the issue to say, and I'm just going to pinpoint it right at the bullseye. And Tia is just more relatable, especially after me watching the show. And please do not get in my comments after this request was made, because y'all asked for my opinion, and say that it's because one married black and one married white. I'm so sick of that. No. If you know Adam Housley, he's not really one of those regular relatable whites. He's a rich Napa Valley uber conservative that commentates on Fox News. If that make any sense to anybody that knows how Fox News operates. Okay? Move right along. Now, in some quick shitty news, the diary's out, guys. And baby, Tisa Tales read that diary. And it's some things that came out about Faith, Pac, Biggie, and Wolf, and Wolf possibly being Justin's dad, which I had already told y'all in one of my deep dives. Go back and watch it. And how he controlled that situation with Quincy and Albie Shaw. Now, the word on the street is that he officially adopted Quincy. Now, I'm not sure if he didn't adopt Quincy with one of those scrubbed out weapons. If you know what I mean. Because I always thought it was weird that I'm a fan of Albie Shaw. Now, I don't like the way he sings. I'm not really a falsetto person. Not unless it's Eddie Kendricks and Ralph Tresvant. But he talked with a sexy voice. So it was his voice off the records that I liked, okay? Because I don't do really like, light brights. Just saying. I'm a more chocolate connoisseur myself. But I always wonder how it was that if you know Al B. Sure and you're a fan of Al B. Sure like I am, then you would know that he was close to his other kids. And I used to be like, what in the entire hell is keeping him from Quincy Brown when he looks more like him than when I say that Kim didn't have anything to do with Quincy Brown other than pushing him out of the JJ in his jeans. I don't see one part of Kimberly Porter in this boy. Well, I say boy, but I mean, man, but boy in growing up. So it seems like Diddy did a whole lot of things to get what he want, especially since I found out the association with Diddy and Uptown. And I feel like, in my opinion, that whole adoption was forced. I think that he made Albert Brown sign over his rights. I'm just saying. I don't know this to be true, but it's really looking like that's the direction that it looked like it was going in my opinion. But my mind had started seeing that when I saw Al kind of, being with his other kids on these different reality shows and stuff. And I used to be like, that Quincy Jr., when I tell you Quincy Jr. don't look... Quincy Jr. can pass for somebody else's kid, but that Quincy Brown... Albert Jr., which is my daddy's name, coincidentally. But anyway, when I tell you Albert Jr., because that's what they used to call my daddy, Albert Jr., which is what his name was. But anyway, when I tell you Albert Jr. can pass for somebody else's kid versus Quincy Brown. Quincy Brown cannot, in no universe, pass with anybody else's kid but Albert Brown. Okay? And me watching them being so supportive of P. Shitty, knowing what could have possibly happened to their mother, makes me sick. But they are indeed of the brainwashed variety, in my opinion. But back to Kimberly's book, her diary. She talked about how Kadada Jones was involved in this and how she rose so hard for Pac that she confronted P. Shitty, and P. Shitty couldn't do anything about it because of Quincy Jones's ties to speaking of that, I think Quincy Brown was married. I think Al B. Sure named Quincy Brown after Quincy Jones. Ooh, what a tangled web this is. That Aristocrat family. Child, I did not... Well, see, I did know that Bad Boy was a subsidiary. I find it very, very strange that Clive Davis is the one who has so much to do with this group of men. Ugh. But through my research over the years, I did find that out. I did find out that it was at the top. And I used to be like, why is Dalvin and Devontae and all these guys and Missy Elliott and all of them emulating P. Diddy's style of producing? And it was all because they were all came up on the Clive. If I could do a family tree, you'll see what I'm saying. But it was Clive at the top. messing and stirring up all the trouble, giving it to Andre giving it to Diddy, and on down the family tree. And folks under this family tree, Mary, Jodeci, Kim even on the family tree, because I kind of found out that she was Andre's secretary. And so they all intermingled. Christopher Williams was working over there. Heavy D, Father MC, all Missy Elliott, all these people that I did not know that were directly / indirectly involved in this uptown Arista triangle. Or should I say quadrangle? Or should I say quintuple angle? Whatever 5 is. But anyway, the point is that did I name Albert Brown in there? I should have named Albert Brown. Because I didn't have any idea that Albert Brown was connected to Diddy in any sort of way other than them both raising and being a father to Quincy. But it seems that Diddy always had known Albert Brown. I thought that it was a thing where Albert Brown had just abandoned his child and P. Diddy was a father to him, and it was a great thing. Okay? I had no idea that they knew each other outside of that. But they were under Clive's. All of them are under Clive's big umbrella, being under Harrell's small umbrella, and then there's Diddy. Okay, so like I said, Kadada Jones, these are the things that caught my attention, read about his tales. Confronting him about booting Pop the first time. Then, in the diary, she read about how he didn't try to talk Biggie out of going to LA. Now, what Kim said was, and what Biggie said, let me tell you what Biggie said now. Biggie said in an interview, I remember it distinctly like it was yesterday, right before he passed away. They got love for me in LA. And I'm going to go. Right? But the word on the street is that, and the words that Kim wrote out in that diary allegedly, is that I know that Big knew he was in danger, but I don't think he knew he was in that type of danger. And I think, and what that book said, is that Puff knew that he was in that type of danger. And he backed off of trying to convince him not to go, because it was really legit that Big said he was leaving Bad Boy. And you could tell that it was coming to fruition because Biggie had, he was more producing at that time himself. He was like, dealing with Kim, and Kim was never signed to Bad Boy. He was dealing with Lil C's and Junior Mafia and all of them, and he was trying to get Lil C's a single record deal or whatever you want to call it. So this all angered Pop. Slip of the tongue. This all angered Puff. So it was more like I don't think it was an actual HIT, but I think it was more like I'm hands off, I'm pulling security back, I'm going to let you do whatever it is you have to do, like he allegedly did with Wolf. Allegedly. So I think that's what happened. I mean, I think he just was like, I'm not going to say to do it, but I'm definitely not going to say not to do it because I made him up. And that's what he had told Kim. She's like, and so Kim in this book, allegedly, was saying, you know, that's your best friend, blah, blah, blah. And he said, nope, I made it. And that let me know that, you know, this man is very cold. Very cold. And the question was, why in the world would usher in Justin Bieber only to give him to Diddy? All of these things I never knew because all they ever said was that Usher discovered him. Well, allegedly, Bieber went to his little camp. And we know allegedly what happened at that little camp. Remember, Usher himself say, I saw some things. But yet and still, that's where you take Bieber. Just disgusting, in my opinion. Boy, I'm trying to hate Usher, but I can't. Right now. At this point, Usher is still my guy. Especially after the Super Bowl performance. But I'm beginning to get him damn side out now. Now remember, I had already stated in one of my other videos, the one that I did about Neo, everybody else was on his side, not me. I was like, it's some truth to what that girlfriend is saying. Remember, she started calling him Diddy Jr. And what about your own personal freak off? You have him as well. She said it. And so in that book, as her last days came on, she was like, Kim Porter, ex-fiance of Diddy. She was saying things like he was controlling, that they fought all the time. Kimora Lee Simmons had witnessed these fights. And I'm like a lot of content creators. When you into something like this and something so severe like this, say something. But I know they were terrified. And as far as Dawn goes, I really don't think Dawn wanted to say anything because Dawn was always quiet. I really do believe she was pressured into speaking out against him. Because all of these people were silent. And Kim was even silent up until the time for this book to come out. But all the bodyguards are saying, from Gene Deal to Wolf to everybody who knew Kim, will say that she was the only one that would put up a good fight. Said they even had incidents like Tina Turner's last fight. It's just that she just didn't know how to get out from under his thumb. And then when she made it clear that she would be from under his thumb, she was like, oh, I got pneumonia. I got pneumonia. Really? Diddy, you gonna do this to me like this? I'm the mother of your children. And he said, oh, you sick? Now, these are the last chapters in the book. Like I said, I'm getting this from Tisa Tales. This part, and a lot of this I already knew. But this part right here, breaking it down from the perspective of the book, I saw her read the book verbatim just about. Or the diary. Well, a diary is a book, so I don't know why they just making that distinction. But anyway, she's saying things like, you know, I'm the mother of your kids. I'm having these flu-like symptoms. And now they're saying I have pneumonia. And see, these pneumonia-like symptoms is what Sloan Bella was talking about. That Sloan Bella felt like that there is some type of chemical that's being injected into folks to make it look like pneumonia. But baby, you think he would have switched it up? After, you know, these other people mysteriously came up with these pneumonia-like symptoms and went on to the great beyond. I'm just saying. But it's always a tail in a criminal. But criminals know how to cover up their tail. And my tail with Diddy is that toothpick. That nasty, dirty toothpick. If he rolls that toothpick from left to right, he about to lie. So, Judge, if you want his tail, ask him to put a toothpick in his mouth. And you'll be able to tell when he's lying. If he roll it from left to right, that's a lie. He roll it in the middle, semi-lie. He leave it on one side, he may be telling the truth. But if he gets to chewing on it real hard and then rolling it from left to right, some lies about to fly out them puffy lips. Trust me when I tell you that. And by the way, I thought they called him puffy because of the shape of his mouth. But according to Storm Monroe, he said they call him puffy because he had a puffed up attitude all the time. I mean, all that could be true. Because he always was the way he is now. Get mad at people if they didn't give him his way. And all this type of shiznit I eat. Okay? So, to sum up, I think Tamera and her conservatism is the problem between she and Tia. And I think that there is more to come in this diary. I know one thing for sure is that Slum Bell need to get a horse. As my grandma would say, she needs to get a horse to that diary. And she needs to, feel that aura and that spirit coming out of that diary. Or she needs to talk to Jaguar Right. Any of those things can happen and it'll be good for me and my business over here with this content creating stuff. All right. So with that, I'm going to close this edition of Piping Hot Tea. Please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell button. You'll be notified when I upload a video. Share the video. Why? Because sharing is caring. As I do when I close, I'm going to chunk them up. Deuces.